welcome to this week's episode of Asking for a Friend. And today we're going to dive into a topic that so many of us are struggling with, but don't necessarily talk about it. And it has to do with money because it's pretty taboo. The topic is, why does budgeting feel so shameful, right? Why is budgeting such a point of contention? Why is it so hard? Why is it so challenging? But most importantly, why does it make me feel icky, right? Well, first and foremost, because budgeting is not about just numbers. Although that's a really big portion of it, it has a lot to do with an emotional attachment to money. And money is something that for so many generations wasn't talked about. It was taboo. It was actually deemed inappropriate to discuss. And so, therefore, the conditioning of that type of emotion and feelings around money and talking about money and what you should be doing with your money and how it should be spent or saved or allocated or where it's going just doesn't happen. And really, when it comes down to it, looking at the numbers can feel overwhelming because we just don't have practice with it. We just don't have exposure and experience. Now, why does it feel shameful, that feeling of like, ooh, I don't want to do this, or I'm so embarrassed, or just shame? Well, shame thrives in silence, and that's part of it, right? We don't talk about it, and we don't talk about the way we feel about money with other people. But there are so many brilliant and successful people that avoid their budgets like the plague. So you're not alone, okay? Avoidance doesn't mean that you're lazy. It's just often an emotional way of self-protection. I don't want to get into it. Can't be bothered with it. But the truth is, the more that we avoid budgeting, the less in control we are and the more shame we feel. And it just becomes this vicious cycle of repetition, right? We avoid it, we feel shameful. We avoid it, we feel more shameful. It's like that elephant in the room that just doesn't go away, okay? So one of the things that can help with not feeling so shameful around budgeting is a reframe, right? We're talking a lot about mindset in this mini series of Asking for a Friend as a foundation. We talk about the power of neuroplasticity, the science of your brain's ability to adapt and change over time, build new habits and skill sets. And so being able to reframe that is super important. So instead of thinking about budgeting as a restriction of things that we cannot have, flip the script and start thinking about it as direction. Where am I allocating those dollars to go, right? When we think like more of an investor and we understand, here's the amount of money that it comes into my bank account through various avenues. It could be your W-2 job. It could be, your self-employed job. It could be your side hustle, passive income. Here's the income and here's the output. Once you start to understand those numbers a little bit more, you can start to have more clarity of where money is being spent. And you know what they say, every yes is a no and every no is a yes. And what does that mean? When we are budgeting, it doesn't have to be, no, I can't do that. I can't afford it. Lack mentality. It can be, I'm choosing not to spend my money here because my vision for spending money here or investing or building wealth is greater. And what comes down to that is really having an unwavering why and motivator. So here's a good practice for you when it comes to budgeting. Think about what you want your life to look like. A lot of us following this page are interested in personal and financial freedom. So create a mental representation. Get really clear, vivid imagery. What does that look like? Maybe that's more time freedom. Doesn't have to be owning yachts and private jets and flying across the world. It can be as simple as having a slow, easy Monday morning, going to the gym at your leisure, right? Having a cup of coffee with a friend on a Tuesday afternoon. So when we have that clear image, that can help us in these small little decisions that we make around budgeting feel a little bit more manageable, right? I'm saying no to this because I'm saying yes to my future. So we reframe the budgeting and we empower it. We think of it as setting boundaries as opposed to punishment, right? It's a quick reframe. It's a quick reset of the way that we think about it. It's protecting us from falling victim to this habitual cycle of spending on things that aren't really giving us our desired outcome. It also ties into this bigger picture of instant gratification versus long-term gratification. The brain is designed for pleasure, right? Pleasure, pain, pleasure, pain. So we want that instant gratification. We want to spend on things that are going to gratify us instantly. And it's harder for us to say, hold on, I'm going to wait and I'm going to save. So also be mindful that there's going to take a bit of course correction, right? It's going to take time for you to set that discipline, but the more awareness you can bring on when you're spending and what you're spending and where you're spending and why you're spending, the easier it's going to be to make those decisions and set those boundaries and have more power, okay? You are going, when you know where your money's going, you feel more in control, and in turn you feel more confident. And with that confidence becomes more peace and freedom and flexibility. So if budgeting is something that's felt very shameful for you, I want you to know that you are not alone. This is a hot topic for so many individuals, and you also don't have to stop living your life. It just comes down to getting real with, what do I want and what am I willing to do to get there? Okay? Because the decisions that you make on a daily basis are either going to stack up to getting you closer to your goals, or they're going to stack you away from your goals. And that's direct from Slight Edge Atomic Habits, right? Compounding over time, the decisions that you make. So when it comes to budgeting, if you feel shameful or have felt shameful or felt icky about it and don't want to do it, it's not your fault. It is extremely emotional, and you just have to retrain your brain on how to make these decisions to make you feel empowered. You're setting those boundaries, those healthy boundaries, to get you closer to your goals. And if you're looking for a little additional support when it comes to budgeting, I have a free guide called the 3-Part Blueprint to Unlocking Health and Wealth. And in there, we talk about financial literacy, budgeting as one of the main components for helping you gain that personal and financial freedom. So I hope this episode was helpful for you on why does budgeting feel so shameful, and supportive resources on how to make it not feel shameful and how to get closer to your goals and dreams of personal and financial freedom. If you like this, go ahead and leave a comment. If you know someone that would benefit from this, go ahead and tag them. And if there is something that you want to ask, go ahead and DM me your secret anonymous question so that we can answer it in a future week's episode. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and catch you next time.